My name is Max Pollak. I am the tap dancer and body percussionist of the band Grupo Santos. Welcome to the second edition of Inside the Song, New Music Final Fridays. Our upcoming album, Santos 4, was recorded in February 2020 and is slated for full release this fall. Today we are celebrating the release of a second new track from this album. Over the next few months, each Final Friday, we'll talk about a new song from the album as it is released to the public. Today, it's an original I wrote entitled Ants Dance. So what's the story behind the song? A few years ago, I was researching my Eastern European heritage. As a true Viennese, I'm of half Czech and half Hungarian descent. Although I am not Jewish, it is very likely that some of my ancestors actually were. To honor this connection, I researched Jewish music and also some other Middle Eastern and North African traditions. I had also performed in Morocco some years prior, and I recall the immense energy that would come from the audiences there, how they could clap super loud, dance, and immediately respond to any snippet of melody thrown at them. This energy was the inspiration for my song. In my mind, I heard a melody played by a very loud Middle Eastern double reed instrument, and this melody made all the ants dance.
You know, right away from the style of the piece and what Max was going for me it was a real challenge to get those together where I'm actually articulating every single note with the pick. Normally, because I'm a lefty playing a righty guitar, so that my left is much faster than my right hand, it's hard for me to play 16th note triplets at that tempo with the pick. So I had to spend a lot of time shedding that to really get that melody together.
The rhythm I chose to carry the song is very common in the Persian Gulf region and in Egypt. It's called Khaliji or Khaligi and is mostly played to accompany belly dance performances. I took inspiration from the authentic Khaliji rhythm, usually played on the darbuka. It sounds something like this. Then I created a body percussion version of it.
In 2003, I did a State Department tour to Russia and Central Asia. And then a year later, I went back with some of the same guys to a few of the Central Asian countries. One was Uzbekistan, and stayed there for 2 weeks working with the folkloric musicians. And I loved that bass Dutar. It was their bass instrument, and I loved the sound of it. And they showed up one day towards the end of my stay with one that they had made for me. And so I took that home, and I always wanted to play it and figure out how to play it because it's a tricky instrument, and especially the pick aspect, which I never play with the pick, with the bass. And I never really did. I just kind of messed around with it, but I always thought, man, I want to like put a pickup on this thing and like, you know, rock the bass Dutar. And then, I don't know, I just saw the opportunity on this tune to use it kind of last minute. We were talking about recording. I started to like kind of put it into my brain, like how am I going to prepare for this recording? And I thought, wow, bass Dutar and ants dance, that would be perfect.
The moment I brought this to you guys, Santos turned it into something more than it was before. You know, before it was a melody and a bass line and a concept with a groove, but not really a song. You know, and then the great thing is that together, between Beaver's input, your input, Pete's input, and us, especially playing it in front of people, that just it made it something that it wasn't before. It made it something that's bigger than the sum of its parts, and that's what I found so beautiful and so telling about
the concept of this band and the energy of this band. You know.
That just about does it for the second episode of Inside the Song, New Music Final Fridays with Santos. I'm Max Pollak, and we hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back on Friday, May 28th, with the next installment and a new track from our forthcoming album, Santos 4, due out this fall. Click the link below if you'd like to see and hear an alternate take from the studio date handstands.